Okay, so this is What If Deku was Catnap from Poppy Playtimes. Now, in this universe, Deku is going to be born with a cat quirk and also kind of like a sleeping quirk. But there's going to be a difference about this. In this What If, he's going to be friends with Pony, a character from Class 1B. They're going to be childhood friends. And I'm going to start this off where he is going to be kidnapped. Because some people thought of his quirk as a little weird, strange, because he releases red gas that puts people to sleep. People think and make rumors that it's diseases or sickness to kill people. So not a lot of people like Deku. Pony was one of his only friends, and they were childhood friends. Let's just get right into it from here. As he's talking with Pony. So, hey Pony, what game should we play today? I don't know, maybe, hopscotch? Yeah, maybe hopscotch. As they go to play in the forest, to where they can always play, because a lot of people don't like Deku, and it's like his only safe place to go. As they're playing and all that, playing some games of hopscotch and all that, as a truck pulls up at the forestry line, as they pull out tranquilizer darts, and they shoot Pony and Deku. As they grab Deku and they leave Pony there. As they take him away in a vehicle, take him to an underground facility, Pony wakes up hours later, wondering where her friend went. She told her parents, they filed a missing report, but since no one really liked Deku, they took it down a month after it was posted. During this time, Deku was taken to a facility, and his quirk was still manifesting. He had grown his ears, tail, and they decided to do experiments, trying to amplify his quirk. As this was the Yakuza from the My Hero, doing the experiments testing on quirk amplification drugs. And they tested it on Izuku because they wanted to make it perfect and to where it was in the anime, because it's still in its prototype stage here, to where it's amplifying Deku's quirk. And they had a little bit of problems because every time they would amplify his quirk, a lot of the scientists would drop. So whenever they went to see him, they always had to wear a red mask. And he had transformed into a cat, into the small cat form. As he just settles in a corner, just scratching at the wall, counting the days going by. Eventually, he loses count. But eventually, we go about when he's 10. The experiments have gotten less and less. The quirk testing have been pretty much done. Every now and then they would test something. And Deku is more like in his big form, in the back, to where he's had enough. So he waits for one of the guards to slip up. As one of the guards eventually slips up when he's bringing Deku his food, Deku pounces on and claws him, killing the guard. As he then releases gas through the doorway, knocking out everyone that's in the facility. As he goes around and starts to tear apart whatever he can with his mind mind in pieces of it once was. With the only thing going through his mind, sleep, sleep, sleep. And all the time they injected him with quark amplification. The masks started to stop working and working. Their effect was dwindling. As their effect was dwindling on the masks. As he was tearing apart all the guards, the scientists that were there, as his mind was pretty much not intact because of the amount of times they injected him with the quark amplification drug. As it was affecting his body, yes, but it was putting more of a strain on his mind, to where he could think very few things. All he wanted was to be free and to kill them. As he was taking care of them, he had finally finished. But he's still not having the full thought of thinking, as it had been lost because of how many times he had been injected and the side effects of the quark enhancing drug, that he just decides to stay there, walking around the facility as his own territory. As we go a few more years into the future to Pony when she had passed the UA entrance exam, as she talks to some of her classmates. So, hey boy, why did you join UA? I joined UA because I wanted to be a hero. And I wanted to find a friend of mine. Who is this friend? Oh, this friend was someone I grew up with who went missing. Aw, it's sorry to hear that. It's fine. I remember we used to play in the woods all the time. Have a fun time. Playing quite a few games. We'd play hide and seek, I Spy. A lot. They would even like to mess with the animals. As their teacher comes in. Okay, today we're gonna have a report or a field trip. We'll be going to we're going to actually go to the you know what? We're gonna go to the Wild Pussy's camp. Wild Pussycats camp. As they go there, as they're on the field trip to where Class 1B technically just arrived on a bus, and Class 1A just had to go through that field of stone monsters? I can't even remember what that was. As they're just there, the facility Deku was actually in wasn't too far from the Wild Pussycats. But it was hidden so well they had no idea where it was. As they look all over for it, trying to find the location. Or not the location of that, they're just training. But Deku eventually finds a way out of the facility as he checks out. And since several of the windows of the facility are old and cracked, his quark goes through the forest to where several animals would be knocked out, and he would take the animals as his food supply. As the Yakuza stopped coming to this place after they lost contact, assuming that their experiment escaped, they just made sure it was locked down. But that didn't stop Deku from escaping and taking whatever animals he could to feed himself. He would always take them into the factory of where he was experimented on. And this factory is like a maze, where the only one knowing how to navigate it is Deku. Even though his mind is not fully intact, he remembers the layout very well. As he's thinking on it. He starts to think and remember something. Someone with horns, but can't make out their face. As he shakes his head. As he speaks a word. Who was that? Who was that? As eventually it comes to the time for the villain attack. As they eventually keep looking around, wondering where the villains came from and all that. Pony and them weren't really seen during the villain attack, so I'm guessing she was somewhere out in the fog of the mist where that smoke villain was. So I'm guessing she just saw some smoke and just went into a certain direction. As then she had popped out and saw red smoke, not knowing what it was. But for some reason it would go around her. And it was releasing more and more as it was going further. And it was all because of the amount of his red smoke that had been produced over the factory. And once one of the windows broke, it started to go closer and closer to and expand through the entire area. It would only get thicker if he was nearby. She decides to make her way back. And I'll leave a brief pause. And this will be part 1. I hope y'all enjoyed.